wanted to talk about the central idea of the show, meaning that there was a movie almost 40 years ago, and 40 years later we have this adaptation, which means that the original material had a really great impact, because if not, we wouldn't have this show. So in your opinion, what makes this story timeless? And on the other hand, what elements required an update or taking another direction?
Yes. Well, I do think it's timeless. I mean, this is the story of an affair. Fatal Attraction. The film did not invent it. Obviously, this is a story that's endlessly compelling to audiences and will remain endlessly compelling. I think probably forever. While I think the original film still totally holds up while also feeling very 80s, I've thought a lot about how that works, how it can feel so of that specific time and yet remain so scary and exciting and sexy and all of the things that it set out to do 40 years ago, while also observing how much audiences have changed over this period of time, especially in the last handful of years, where we are just reevaluating how we judged women in the past, in media and in real life, how quick we all were to point our fingers and label women as monsters and criminals or bad mothers or whatever you want to say. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination we have progressed beyond that finger pointing, but it has totally shifted. I can just put in the context of Fatal Attraction. I don't believe that the original film would fly with audiences in the same way that it did back then, where we could just paint this woman as a straight up villain who deserved to die because she had the gall to sleep with this really sweet married guy. I mean, immediately one asks more questions in 2023, like, wait a minute, he was the one that was married. He was the one with the kid. We're just not going to blame him at all. He's the hero and we're good with everything he did. We just hate the woman. Great. And times have changed. People have shifted. We don't think that way anymore. We do want to see the man who cheated on his wife held accountable, or at least, I don't know, apologize to her, which he doesn't even do in the film. And then for the woman, we're not as okay with just, oh, she's nuts and that's why she did it. Women are crazy and evil and that's why she did all of these things. Like, well, no, she's probably struggling with her own stuff. Maybe there's more to unpack here with mental illness or her upbringing or any number of things that would get a person to the place that Alex Forrest is in. And so I think while some of these themes are definitely universal, for me, the most interesting part was trying to examine how much audiences have changed.
Yeah, and since the first scene of the show, it's really made clear that Dan is not the victim, that he has been charged of doing something. So just like a lot of changes have been implemented in relation to Dan, how is this new version of Alex that you play?
We explore all of the questions that, I just brought up. We see more about her struggles. We see where they started. We examine a lot of her relationship with her father. I think hopefully if we've done our job, we see that Alex's brain chemistry is absolutely not right. But if she was raised in a different household by a different parent, if somebody helped her instead of just kind of ignored her cries for help when she was younger, perhaps she wouldn't be in the situation that she finds herself in now, in that situation of like utter desperation and just reaching out for, I think, somebody to love her.
Yeah, and every time that successful IP like this one is brought back, I think that the audience already has a pre-made idea about what they are going to see, and I really like that in the first 2 episodes, at least the ones that I had the chance to watch, the show plays with that. I mean, the scene in the elevator, in the end of the second episode, I'm not going to say what happens. How do you think that, in which ways the show subverts the expectations or defies what the audience thinks that they are going to watch?
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of sad how few films that are made today are like seared into somebody's consciousness, whereas something like Fatal Attraction, like, people remember this movie. They remember when they first saw it. They remember when they saw it as a child versus as an adult. And there are so many iconic things that happen in the film that are just like part of the zeitgeist permanently, it feels like, that you can do things like show a bunny in the corner of the screen and it's going to get everybody afraid. That's the fun of messing with people, I guess, when you're working with a property that's so well known and well loved.
And my last question, one thing that I'm very curious about the show, I don't know if you can tell me completely, but will we have the chance to discover the story from Alex's perspective? I mean, will we get to know more about what's inside her mind to understand her better?
Yes. I believe that starts like by episode 3. I think you'll get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so not everything is about Dan.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lizzy. Have a really nice day. And congrats for the show and for your work.